3 hours later.
I'm going to hide these two, walk this one home now, come back to those later with help.
The next day.
Right, we're back at base. Here's the plan. This is all that remains of the first ever teepee shelter thing that I ever made for the school. Looking at them now, I'd hoped to reuse some. Don't think that's going to happen. They're all too rotten, too old. They're like 4 years old now, so they've dried out over the summers. They've been wet in all the rain, sitting on the floor. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. So hopefully I've got enough here to repair the second one I built, which is just out of shot there, remake that one, the first one, and potentially build a third for the third playground at the school. The original teepee looked like this when it was put together. For the frame of that to be built from scratch, I have 4 nice straight ones here to make the square at the bottom of the square-based pyramid, and then 4 uprights for the 4 uprights, which can be a bit more wonky and a bit more characterful. So that is these 4 here, I think. In the woods, in my head, I was making like kits as I went around cutting the pieces. I was like, right, I need 4 of them, I need 4 of them, I need loads of little thin bits to make all the horizontals on the teepee, which should hopefully be made out of this and this. So yeah, other one is over here. It's a different shape. I was just kind of making it up as I went along, and this one is newer, so I believe I can get away with just replacing these 4 at the bottom, because they are what has been sat on the floor and has rotten out. So you can see, look, the screws have just pulled out completely on the corners. So I've just cut 1, 2, 3, 4 replacements, which I will do first, because then that's the easiest one. Ticked, out the door, done, out my brain. On some of them I made little cutouts to make them sit flatter against the lower spars here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I can feel it here in my finger. I've cut like in halfway and then split off half of the bottom, just the end bit here. That's now too low and isn't sitting nice on here, so I think because this bit's quite punky, I'm just going to get a longer screw and run it in through a bit further up. It'll be fine. And on second thoughts, looks like these 2 screws need repositioning as well, just a little bit further up to get into the new stick. Because nature has no straight lines. Just before I put the last several screws in and hold the 2 short ones in, I'm going to make a slight cutout in each end of the short ones so that there is more surface area contact between these 2 sticks, and that will give my screw a nicer, stronger hold. However, when I last did this, I had them both notched out and they were all contacting the floor. However, if I only do that on these two this time, these ones here will be raised off the floor slightly and then hopefully not rot out as quickly. You know what I mean. Okay, there we go. So they're not rolling around so much now. That just sits nicely in that little pocket. Keeps this long one just slightly off the ground there. Just a little bit of gap. There's only that much height, but it's a lot better for just having that little bit of airflow. Keep that stick dry, and then it won't rot as quickly. Obviously, this one's still on the floor, but it needs to be. Don't want to have it raised up and have a trip hazard going in. So, yeah, we'll keep that like that. Nice strong join in there. Couple of screws in there. Job done. Once I've done the same to the other end, of course. Make sure there's no pokies sticking out anywhere to stab any children. But that's done. Nice and sturdy still. It's a bit rocky, but as it gets wet and hot in the sun and then contracts in the cold, it'll all sink down. You know, they put like nets and some weight on it and stuff when they cover it up, like camouflage nets. So, but yeah, that's this one done. I can move it out of the way and move on to the next one. Okay, I've just selected the straightest bits from those 4 sticks that I selected for the base, because obviously I want them straight so that it sits as flat as possible. So it doesn't really matter which way around they go, we just need a square. And then I think I might as well do the same here as I just did a moment ago, in only putting a cutout on 2 of the sticks, and then the other 2 can be raised up slightly. I can play around turning them around, swapping out, so like if there's a thin end and a thick end of every stick, I can change out whether I have thick and thin, thick and thick, thin and thin, that kind of thing, so that it all sort of just sits nicely together. That takes a bit of playing around with. And the other thing I need to think about is how big this square wants to be, because I've got these 4 to think about as well. Yeah, so for instance, at the minute, this is looking just a little bit big, I think. From memory, I might want to just pull the base sticks in a little bit. Just need to obviously think before I do here, because I've only got so many sticks, right? And if I muck it all up, the only way I can go and get more sticks is to go all the way back to the woods and cut more and then carry them all the way home again. So I shall try and take my time.
A few moments later.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's crack on. Okay, as you can see, I've just made the main frame of this one, and I was about to dive headfirst into adding a doorway here with 2 verticals here and then a little lintel, it would be, I suppose, for the top of the door, and then horizontals going up all 3 other sides to make it, you know, enclosed, proper teepee kind of thing. However, I then thought, wait a moment, before you go using all of the best sticks for that, need to think about the frame for the third one. And I was unsure at first if I really cut 16 sticks to make a complete third frame, because that sounded like a lot, but having a count, yes I did. So I think for the third one I'm intending to make a cube, which will require 12 sticks with a further 4 on top for like a pitched roof, basically like a house is the shape I'm aiming for. So yeah, 16 sticks needed for that. So I picked out the nice straightest sticks, some of which are beautifully straight really, to make that frame as well. And then that leaves me with the offcuts over there, the old pieces from the original teepee, which maybe not any good, and then some other more spindly ones to do everything else. So at least now I can make the frame of the third, even if I need to go and get a few more sticks at a later date to fill in the sides and roof of that one. We can certainly make a good start today. Alright, I'm nearly done on this one, but I'm going to pause here because the last few sticks I need to put on horizontals, so like 3 up the top there and then a couple down these 2 side bits, are only going to require short sticks, which means I can use thinner sticks, which means I only need shorter screws, saving my longer ones for the frame on the final remaining shelter. However, I'm running out of short screws, so I'll take a pause, I think, and before the heavens open, which they look like they might be about to, I shall make a start on the third frame. Okay, get in there now. I've pinched some smaller screws off my dad, so I can put those smaller sticks on the pyramid teepee over there. I was hoping to do some windows in this because I've got a doorway here, obviously. This one will be in the playground with the youngest and smallest children, I believe. So they are only really small, so I think that's plenty high enough for a door. But I thought maybe in the back or the side wall it would be cool to have a window, but I think it needs the diagonal braces. Without it, it's a bit all over the shop being a cube. You know, triangles are the strongest shapes, well, apart from hexagons.
Hexagons are the bestagons.
We like triangles to keep things strong, and I don't know, maybe I could try taking one side off and see how it is, but before, as I was putting it together, it seemed like it needed them. We shall see though. Nearly there though, which is good. Okay, I've just trimmed off these bottom bits. That's this one done. See, I've put on little thin bits to fill in gaps. So, let's get this one out of the way. A little bit more on the third one that I did for new today, and then we're done. Need to add a few more screws in the corners, like here and here, because at the moment there's normally only one stick going into another for each join of 2 sticks, if that makes any sense at all. I like to just put as many in everywhere as I can, because it'll just make it that much stronger. Especially when I go to pick it up and things like that, if I'm only holding on to 2 sticks, I want more than just a screw at each end of those sticks holding the thing up, if you see what I mean. Just adds longevity to it. Yay! So there we are, all done. I'm very pleased with how they've all turned out. I'm pleased that I've been able to recreate the original pyramid teepee, repair the second one that I've finished, did first, and indeed make a new one from scratch as well. So all 3 playgrounds now have one. The only thing I've got left to do, I think, is trim off a few screws that are poking through with the grinder so that no one stabs themselves on them, and obviously manhandle them up to the school through some rather tight alleyways, but hey, that's future Chris's problem. Oh, I'm also happy with the amount of wood I got. Pretty much perfect. I probably could have used all new stuff, didn't need to reuse any of the old ones, but at the same time I'm pleased that I was able to use some of the reuse some of the old ones. So yeah, don't think there's anything else, so thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.